live. Now, General Dan has given me the go-ahead to go live because he's going to try and join us. Oh, no, here he is. I think we've done it. Have we done it? Have you got a camera there, Dan? Are we going to see your happy, smiling face? Or are we not? I don't know. Hello, Dan. I can hear you. I can't see you, though. No, it's just a black screen for me. Let me see if I can get it up on the old on the computer and see what I can see on there. Have you got it on a laptop or anything that you can read, that you can see? Can you guys see General Dan's Russians, or is it just my still portrait? No, Dan. Yeah, I think it stays in portrait when there's two of us. Is your camera enabled, Dan? There we go. There we are. Yes, no, it is now. You've just appeared. So, well, your Russians have anyway. So, we don't want to. I have said that it's not suitable for kids, but if your face had appeared, then it definitely wouldn't have been. So, we might have been community struck for that one. So, so hello and welcome to the first joint Napoleonic Wargaming and Forlorn Hobbies Wednesday night live stream. We got there in the end. Thank you very much for everyone who's putting up with us. I think we're going to be in portrait mode. I'm going to look like my hands are coming from the side of the world, so apologies for that. But Dan, for those of you who have only seen your hands and your crotch from my battle reports, hello, welcome to the channel, and let the viewers and listeners know a little bit about yourself. So take it away, Dan. I mean, things like do you like getting caught in the rain? Do you like pina coladas? Things like that? No. So we'll start off with the normal one. With now we're both in portrait. Well, sorry, Luke, but I think in this style of video, I think that is how it has to be, I'm afraid. So, Dan, let me know your hobby journey, how we got to know each other, and what got you into the crazy wild world of Napoleonic gaming. Although I suspect there might be some overlap in those things. Yep.
I was.
You're just sorry, Dan. You might just need to. Have you got are you like having it on your laptop next to you as well? There's a bit of feedback on your mic.
I haven't.
So just silence your laptop if
it might be
if
the
it's
signal
playing.
strength.
That's a bit better.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry, Dan. Yeah. So when you were younger, you played Age of Empires.
Store.
Oh yeah. I think that was 6th Ed, doesn't it? That one.
I always wanted more historical based kind of gaming.
Okay.
Me too. So it wasn't until draw and became the manager. Really, because financially it wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. You're we're just getting a bit of feedback in the chat, Dan. I think your microphone is still being a bit dodgy. Is it plugged in properly? Is it? All right. Okay. Fair. Uh, but so you're just saying that you played Age of Empires as a youngin, and it was the Empire and the Orcs that stoked your passion. But you didn't know anyone else who sort of played historicals, even though that was what you were really interested in. So what periods of historicals still grab your fancy? What can we expect from Forlorn Hobbies? I probably should say that close to the end, shouldn't I? Is that because I routinely whip your ass at Team Yankee? Uh, yeah.
Learn about the Normans, and learn about the Tudors, and then kind of
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, your microphone's a little bit
but no,
clearer in that last
the
sentence there. Okay. Um, I just want the audience to get the full Barry White effect. That's my concern. So yeah, David's saying we've definitely got sound problems. Is it on both ends, or is it just from General Dan? Because for me, he's I can't obviously can't hear myself. So if you can let me know if there's any problems with me, apart from me talking, which is the main problem, I guess. But yeah, so 20th century not necessarily your bag. What Yeah, yeah, no, that's fair enough. Yeah, yeah. Just General Dan, right? Okay. Um, I'm not really sure what I can recommend, Dan. I'm afraid. Is your just open your sound settings and make sure that it's actually connected to the microphone and not through the microphone in your laptop. So if you right click where your little speaker is, and then go to open or troubleshoot sound problems might be the one to go to, or open sound settings. Just make sure it's selected your microphone. Soon we can hear you all across Yorkshire. You see, yeah, that's true. I never see that's again. That's the problem with it. I never know how loud to talk because the microphone's actually quite far away from me. So I don't want to like Brian blessing it. I mean, I do want to Brian blessing everyone, obviously, but I'm aware that it may be a little too strident for some, shall we say? Uh, Now, I will say I've done three of these Victrix horses in the time that we've been talking, and they are going together really nicely. They're a little bit less whoa than the Lancer ones. I think these are really, really nice. So I'm looking forward to these. These were originally going to be in my Italian army, but they may end up in my mid-war French. I'm not quite decided yet. Uh, how we get along, down? Have you managed to have a look at that?
is that any better? Or
It's still a bit tinny. It sounds like you're a Dalek. I'm not going to lie. I'll be honest with you, man. I think it might be worth sorting it out at the weekend, and then we'll have another go next week, perhaps. Richie's asking if you've got enough bandwidth. So, I mean, in a very real sense, he is inquiring about your girth. So, um, Let's go here. That was a bit that was a bit dry even for me, that one. Yeah, I think we're probably gonna have a look at the weekend if that's all right, Dan. But I'll carry this one on solo if that's all right. I really don't want you to think that I'm like kicking you off, but if people can't hear you, I'd rather we postponed it and people could listen to you properly. I didn't know Dan was in a band. He's he's the Walrus of Love. Of course, he's in a band. I have absolutely no idea what his backing band was called though. So, but yeah, I don't know if you want to tap out, Dan, and then we'll try it again. I mean, we may be able to do something Friday night, but we can discuss that on the car. So basically, what I'm alluding to for the listeners, I'm just kind of keeping you in suspenders there, aren't I? Is that this Friday? So some of you long-term viewers of the channel will know that. I know it's sorry, I was laughing at your comment there, Luke. Yes, long-term viewers of the channel will know that a good friend of ours, a chap called Richie, up in Morpeth. Many of you will have seen the back of his head for some significant time. Has a humongous 100 Days collection of beautifully painted front rank models. They really are a genuine privilege to play with. So we've been refighting the 100 Days campaign. Now, as a quick resume, as the French would say, in the first battle, the Battle of Quatre Bras, the French pushed forward, and they were not only able to capture Quatre Bras, but they actually killed the Duke of Wellington. He took up position in a Brunswicker square, and unfortunately that square was broken. We rolled a dice, and the Duke was amongst the slain. So yeah, that didn't go very well for the Allies. Then the second game we played was the Battle of Ligny. Now with that one, we played it very differently to how the battle went originally, and the Young Guard just went straight up the guts. In fact, I think the Middle Guard did as well. Just went straight up the guts of the Prussians into the village, and it was a very bloody affair. But the Prussians were defeated there as well. So what we are going with now is this is the third battle in that series. So it's going to be a huge game. We're probably looking we're going to do 2 one-day games this time as opposed to 1 two-dayer. The first day is either going to be the detached French corps against the British rearguard. We decided that the British, with the death of Wellington and the defeat of Quatre Bras and the defeat of the Prussians, the British are now pulling back to Antwerp. They are going to evacuate the continent, and the Prussians are going to form the main force that's going to try and hold back the Army of the North. So at the Battle of Ligny, the 4th Corps hadn't made it to the battle in time. So the Prussian 4th Corps are going to form the main basis of the enemy army. And then it's going to be basically the French army that was at Waterloo is now going to be facing off against the Prussians, and vice versa. The army that fought at that battle on the 18th of June against the Prussians, they are going to be fighting against the British. Now, I suggested that we still do it at Waterloo, but we only have maybe 2 divisions of British. But we will see how we're going to go on with this. Did Ridley Scott write the script for your campaign? He did. Funny you should say that, because I have just finished painting up 3 Heinkel 111s. We will be calling them in towards the end of the battle, because Ridley Scott said that they had them. I mean, may as well have done, hadn't he? So, it's your famed organization abilities, Tim. Absolutely, yeah. Well, General Jambon is still in the wind. No, it was something that was decided pretty last minute, to be honest. It's partly my fault. I didn't get home from work until quite late, so we probably should have saved it for the weekend. But we were so excited, we wanted to have a bit of a preview to the weekend. Now, before I've done it as just a rolling live stream. I think I may do that differently this time because, as I say before, it could be a little bit boring. Dare I say so? Wildra, thank you very much, Clive. That's the badger. So thank you, Phil. So I'm cutting off camera as well. The professionalism never stops, does it? So I think what would your guys' thoughts be? I'm quite interested to see what the community thinks on this. I've been pushing the narrative quite hard on this one, and I feel I don't want to what's the word? I don't want to force people into doing stuff they don't agree with or they're not comfortable with, but it seemed to me fairly reasonable that with the Duke killed, and the Prussians looking like they're not going to be able to reinforce Mont Saint-Jean, that the British would retreat back to Antwerp. So those of you who are far more versed in the 100 Days than me, and that's not that difficult, I have to say, what would your assessment of that be? Do you think that the British would have abandoned the continent? Do you think they would have fallen all the way back to Antwerp with perhaps a rearguard of some Dutch Belgians and maybe some Brunswickers, some the Light Division, of course? Or do you think something else would have happened? Do you think the British might have tried to? Meet up with the Prussians at Ligny rather than leave them to fight themselves? What do you guys think? Because as I've said many, many times before, the 100 Days is certainly not my expertise. Do you think that is a believable scenario? So that is what we're up to at the weekend. Please join us for those. I will be posting throughout both days, even if I don't do a whole live stream of the game, which I might do, I may not do, I don't know yet. We'll have to see on the technical specs. But even if we don't do that, we'll certainly be doing updates as the day goes on. So Waterloo was like the first pit on the final stage. He would still have had to fight on against the other powers. Richie agrees. Yep, we'd be off in our ships. I'm glad you said that, AS, because I've already threatened Richie that if he and the British don't, or the Allies don't win this game, then he's gonna have to buy himself a Russo-Austrian army, because that's the new challenger will appear, and it'll be those guys. So I've already threatened him with those. So don't worry, I'm already on it. Speaking of Austrians, I'm going to show you mine. So we've got 2 events next year. I know I keep banging on about it, so I would apologise, but advertising is advertising. We've got Under Eagles to Glory on the 1st and 2nd of March, and then in September, towards the end of the year, we've got To the Sound of the Guns, which is going to be a Waterloo epic themed event. Now, I have just printed, still wet from the alcohol, some epic Austrians. So these are Germans. You can see they've got the helmets on. These are from a manufacturer on 3D Wargames, it's called, and that's where you can get your STL files from. He's a guy called MC Miniatures, and these guys are my epic 1809 Austrians. I am super excited about these. These actually look more like Hungarians, but it doesn't matter at this scale. All that's going to matter is the colour I paint the trousers. These, I'm hoping, will paint up super, super quickly, because realistically, I'm going to spray them white, I'm going to wash them white, and then I'm going to pick out the belts and cross straps, and then anything that's not white. So those are the MC Miniatures Epic. You can see there's only 5 there. I guess I should be holding it this way, shouldn't I? There's only 5 there, but that's okay. I've got enough for 10 to make the full strip. I'll be using 4 bases of those to a battalion, because being Austrians, they are, of course, large. So, Phil, yeah, you got your Austrians from there as well. That is a wise choice there. Now, I will say, however, that To the Sound of the Guns is going to be Waterloo focused. So I thought for this one, we will go with the 3 armies. So we've got British, Prussians, and French. But obviously, you can use 3D printed miniatures to represent those armies as well. So one of the things I'll probably get is probably the set of dragoons, actually, because I want to buy. I want to get a lot of dragoons. I don't want that many carabineers. So I may end up getting the dragoons, and they'll be fine to use as dragoons, obviously. So we've got 8 horses built now. I've got 9 here, and then I've got 2 commands. So you do only get 12 horses in this set. I've saved the command for last. I think we'll probably do those towards the end of the stream. So how's everyone else been? What are people working on? What armies are going to be marching forth in the spring? What are people's hopes for maybe Christmas projects or January, beating the January blues with some hobbying? What are people's thoughts for models they're working on now? It's just, to be honest, it's just nice to be back. I really miss doing these live streams. I'm aware that this one technically is not great. The light is terrible. Unfortunately, General Dan, we couldn't hear properly. But hopefully, next time we do it, we'll get it sorted. And maybe one day we'll be able to rival the professionalism of the Plastic Crack podcast. Although I certainly wouldn't bet the house on it. That is for sure. Well, at the moment, I could probably bet my house on it because it seems to be falling apart. But apart from that, yes, no, I wouldn't bet certainly wouldn't bet the house on an improvement in professionalism. That's for sure. Brits wait for the GIs and their Sherman tanks. Yeah. It was Ridley Scott's alternative ending for the film. Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't do it, to be honest. I watched a video on why Prometheus was so bad the other day. That really was a terrible film. Really, really was. Paging more 6 mil Napoleonics for Epic ECW. More 6 mil Napoleons and Epic ECW. Oh, fantastic. Are you doing English Civil War or are you doing 30 Years War? Because I did notice they do a set of 30 Years War commanders. And I don't know a huge amount about the 30 Years War, but it interests me more than English Civil War, I have to say. Although English Civil War has its moments as well. I've been working on Epic 3D, Epic scale 3D printed French and British supporters. Fantastic. Absolutely love it. I was going to do fully 3D printed armies for them. And I thought, you know what? They had the sprue sale on. And I thought, you know what? Just for the ease, I'm going to buy them. So most of I've done what I always say not to do. And I've bought a bunch of French line infantry from Warlord. But in future, certainly the British, I think I may print those. Especially as I want to do Peninsular War ones, I think. 50 mil pulp using the Cry Havoc hex maps. Oh, cool. I'm aware it's niche. Well, it is very niche, but that's okay. We are a broad church here. So doing Civil War, yeah, that's fair enough. I'm watching Wolf Hall at the moment. I know it's a bit earlier, but that is tickling my Renaissance taste buds, I have to say. 6 mil Dutch. 8050 line infantry from Bacchus. Ah, very nice, very nice. Potty time had the Prussians arriving in panzers to save the day of wars. Yeah. You know what? He may as well have done, hadn't he? I think he'd obviously watched 1917 and thought, yeah, those trenches look cool. It's Belgium, isn't it? They have trenches in Belgium. Well, yes, really, but not for another 100 years. Well, it'll be all right. You know what? I wonder if he genuinely thought that. It wouldn't surprise me. An idiot. 2025 project built some Napoleonics in 6 mil. Thinking Blucher as a rule set. Yeah, no, you know what? I was looking at Blucher, and you can't buy the cards anymore. You can't get the cards apart from second hand. So I was a bit like, okay. I guess you don't really necessarily need the cards. You can kind of model the units and use the stats yourself. But yeah, that kind of bummed me out, really. I thought if I'm going to do it, I'm going to buy the cards. So yeah, I remember when it first came out, I was like, oh, it's very expensive. Now looking at them on eBay, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I should have bought them then, I think. Potty time did a lot of military history stuff, come to think. Yeah, I mean, he made, yeah, I mean, if we're talking Ridley Scott, he made Black Hawk Down. That's like one of my favourite war films of all time. Ugh, I don't know. I might see what Trench Crusade looks like when fully released. Well, again, yeah, I mean, you're not too far from Waterloo there, are you, with Trench Crusade? Yes, I saw the Kickstarter, and I saw they were doing the Ottomans, and you know my love of Ottomans. I'll be honest, it didn't quite drag me in. Now, Thomas Prurian was my favourite Games Workshop author, despite him writing my least favourite edition of fantasy. So go figure. But yeah, no, I'm curious to see what comes out of it. I have to say. Cracking on with the regiment of Joseph Napoleon. Oh yeah, that's cool, man. As collecting the 1812 French First Corps. Yes, they are a cool unit. No, they're going to look sick when they're done. Andrew has just finished a British Battalion Epic War 2. Very nice. What colour did you paint? What colour did you paint the facings? Which battalion have we gone for? Did you buy the Fusilier heads and convert them all? Because you're a crazy person. But I'm saying I am very much enjoying the epic scale stuff. I don't get that much time to paint anymore, which is a real shame. But I am painting up some epic Romans at the moment, and they are absolutely gorgeous. Really, really enjoying them. Cromarty Forge, absolutely coming in clutch. But it's just the scale that I like. Actually, I like them because they're big enough to have some details on, but they're not as big as 28 mils, so they don't take as long. No, I'm really, really enjoying the epic stuff at the moment. Just started my second sprue of light cavalry. The first sprue is all finished, the one that we were painting on stream. So I'm just starting the second sprue now. I've just done, just working my way through all the horses. All right. Okay. Bernard's potty tate. All right. Okay. I see. Trench warfare, Foreign Legion, and lots on YouTube. I shall check it out. So, speaking of Foreign Legion, we watched Guest. They were repeating that on Talking Pictures the other day. That was quite cool. It had the woman out of EastEnders in it, so that was good fun. I'm thinking Napoleon's first campaign, North Italy. Oh, very nice. As my first subject. Thoughts, advice on that theatre. It's a very interesting one. It's where Napoleon really does shine as a general. You're going to have a lot of different ability units. So you'll get good ones like the Consular Guard, and the majority of his army should be decent, but fragile morale, I would say. But yeah, if you're looking at things like the Battle of Lodi, or even Marengo. I've been looking at Marengo a lot myself recently. I just played it on Napoleon Total War. So yeah, no, there's some really, really interesting battles. There's some sieges. It's one of the things that the French didn't really do a lot of is sieges. But there's some of those there as well. You've got the French defending places like Mantua. You got Marshal Massena. What's not to love about Marshal Massena? As long as you haven't got your art collection within or daughter within range of him, and you've got a lot of up and coming generals and marshals as well. So yeah, no, Italy's an interesting one. If you're bothered about the uniforms, the Austrian uniforms are very different from later on in the war. But I mean, I wouldn't worry too much about that. I'd just use 1805, 1809 Austrians. I'd just use the ones with the helmets. They actually have these like weird sort of leather, like I don't know, they're like baseball caps almost, or a bit weird. Well, not really like baseball caps. They're sort of like leather serving hats. They're a bit weird, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't worry about it. I'd just use normal Austrians if I were you. You're not building Manchester. Fair enough. I thought you needed 6 mil. You'll be all right. Just get some Hexton Hills tiles. Job's a good one. So just print them at like 400%, and there you go, Mantua done. Or you could just do the walls, I guess. So greetings, Panzer Faust. That's a new name to me. So hello and welcome. I live in the US, but would love to make the next Eagles event. Any chance I could borrow an army so I don't have to bring my figs from Indianapolis? Absolutely, Panzerfaust. You could borrow. You can certainly borrow one of my armies, and I'm sure there are others who would willingly lend you one. But yeah, no. You could absolutely borrow my French, my British, my Russians. What else do I have sculling around? I might have my Württembergers done by then. But no, you are more than welcome to borrow an army. When I went to Adepticon this year, I specifically only played in 10 mil or 6 mil events. so I could transport my army easily. So I played the War Master, which I did very well at, and I played Epic, which I did not do very well at. I'm sure you've seen Little Wars TV doing that as a club campaign. Great episode. I haven't seen that one actually, so I had a bit of a falling out with Little Wars TV, so I can't. I'm not allowed to promote them on the channel because they might get upset with me. But we'll move swiftly on from that one. But yes, no, absolutely. Yep, you can certainly borrow any armies. Just let me know in advance which one you want to use, and we'll be good to go. I'm hoping to have an Italian army by then as well. But with current painting, that is looking increasingly unlikely. I think this horse here might be a little bit. Whoa, dude! This one might be one that I'm not so keen on. I have to say, and unfortunately, with the Victrix, you only get 12 sculpts in the pack. You only get 12 horses and 12 bodies. So I can't leave this one at home. Yeah, he's not great. He's the officer's horse as well. So we'll have to see what we can do. I might even have to model like a fence or something on the base. Yeah, I'm not very impressed with that. No, that's all right. Look, I'm only joking. I'm not joking. You can you promote away. I was having a conversation with a fellow YouTuber about this, and they were saying, it's getting an increasingly crowded market. There's a lot of other channels out there, and I honestly don't see other channels as competitors because they're not as good as me. No, no, I'm joking. The reason I don't see other channels as competitors is I genuinely see other channels as colleagues. I think, and I'm sure, if you guys think about your own YouTube viewing, you don't watch me and nothing else, and you don't watch Epic Wars TV and nothing else. You won't watch Boots on the Table with Dom and nothing else. I think it's all part of an ecosystem, and I think it's why I'm keen to collaborate with General Dan. I'd like to try and get Alex from Storm of Steel on as well to have a bit more of a different perspective. He is a huge Blucher fan. He loves his Lardies as well. He's also been working on all of the Epic stuff that he got for free from Warlord Games. So, bully for him. I didn't. I had to buy all mine. But I'm just bitter. That's all it is. So yeah, no. I think I think the more the merrier when it comes to YouTube channels. Absolutely. Not until Bacchus add an Italian city to the teeny tiny terrain range. No, man. Well, don't suggest it because they well might. 90-second Highlanders next. Very good. What in epic scale? I'll be honest with you. I've bought the Highlander set, and I've not even opened them because it's a little bit beyond my ken at the moment. Thanks for reminding me of Potty Time. Okay, it's more shout outs for Potty Time. I shall definitely have to check it out. I'm looking here. It looks to me like there are 2 bodies for the Muso, or is that for the standard bearer? How many bodies we got on this brew? 1, 2, 3. Oh, no, that's a shame. I was hoping to get away with not having to do the Emperor colours. Let's have a look. Trooper officer parts. Here we are. Trumpeter parts. Right. What colour is he? TB1. TB1 is trumpeter. What is SP1? Oh, he's a sapper. Interesting. Okay, well, sapper it isn't. So, what time are we on? We're on 10 to 7. I am going to do, not them. I'm not going to do the officer yet. I'm going to come back to him later. Let's do some line troopers. Now, I've already done one. So, is this the sprue I've done one from? Probably not, but let's have a go anyway. Sorry, you're just hearing me chuntering to myself. I do this even when I'm not on camera, so it's not like you're just witnessing the decline in my my mental health. So when I start doing the voices that you want to be really worried. Sorry you fell out with Little Wars. You came across as a nice guy. Was it Little Wars? I think it was Little Wars I fell out with. Basically, I read an article where they, I felt that they were very gatekeepy towards other YouTubers, And I told them that. To be fair, I'd had several beers when I told them that, and I probably shouldn't have done. So that is probably my fault. I will apologise if I see them in person. But yeah, no, it wasn't great. But again, I didn't appreciate their attitude as a struggling YouTuber myself at the time. I felt that they were very they basically said if you can't do it to a professional standard, don't do it at all. Now I remember YouTube back in 2008, and I can assure you, YouTube had nothing as a professional standard in 2008. So that rather rubbed me up the wrong way. So yes, it was probably me being a little oversensitive. Ba, 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 ba. Can't be a good job. Absolutely, yeah. Like you say, trying to start arguing with myself that we want to be worried. There are potty time clips and episodes on YouTube. Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to check this out. This is clearly a thing. So old YouTube was. You know what, mate? I absolutely agree. It's. I think it's the Mr. Beasts and the Jake Pauls. I think have rather taken away from it. It used to be about fat kids doing lightsaber impressions and things like that. But yeah, no, that's all long gone. So to be honest, that one would have been me actually. So it's probably for the best that it has gone. So. Well, no. I mean, yeah. I mean, yes, Woot. I wasn't a big fan of certainly YouTube gatekeeping, but I think maybe I got the wrong end of the stick. So I think it was. I think I will put it down as a misunderstanding on my part. Perhaps they could have worded it better. Perhaps I misunderstood it. I think that is probably the fairest way of going through it. But no. I certainly watch a lot of their content. It is very, very good. I just have to log out of YouTube when I watch it, so they don't notice me. I'm joking. I don't really do it. I don't really do it. No, that's the kind of thing that someone who does do that would say. No, I don't. Right. So I'm going to try. Normally I will keep the riders and horses separately, but for this one, I'm going to try them all together because I think because they need to match up with the reins and all that stuff because they are so dynamic. That's why I'm going to build them all together. So that's why it's a little different to how I would normally paint, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a little bit different. So what time are we on? We're on 5 to 7. I'm going to try and get 3 more sets of legs done. I'm going to try and respond to some comments. And then I think this technical experiment, which wasn't a complete success, but we got something out of it in the end. It's all in portrait. I'm aware of that, so apologies. But hopefully for the next one, we will use what we've learned today to improve the next one. So what have we got? That's it. It's when you aren't speaking to yourself because you've been cancelled. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Nationman standing his ground after a couple of stellars. That's what made his nation great. Absolutely. Yeah. I think it might have been stellar as well, actually. It was definitely a lager. Because I was down south and I only ever drink if I'm down south, I only drink lager or cider, actually. A very nice pineapple cider the other day. That was lovely. But yeah, no, it's bitter when I'm oop north, although I'm sure Richie will mock me for saying I'm oop north. Is it possible to kit bash Perry kits with each other? Been thinking about combining French and Austrian kits for some Bavarian National Field Battalions. There's 2 things I would say. The first one is I don't know much about the uniforms for Bavarian Field Battalions, if I'm honest. And by not much, I mean absolutely nothing. So I can't give you any. I can't give you any suggestions on parts, but as to whether they are compatible or not, yes, to an extent. If you want to make guys marching, and you want to use, say, the marching arms from the mid-war Perry's French set, absolutely go 1000% large. You'll have no problem with that whatsoever. If they are sort of holding the muskets across their chest, if they're holding the muskets two-handed, basically, so if they're firing or on guard or something like that, then you might have difficulties because the width between the shoulders might be different. Now, it may not be, but it might be. I would probably suggest that the mid-war French would go better with the British than the 1812 to 15 French. That was the first Napoleonic set the Perrys put out. I'm not sure how well that would go over. Things like tarletans and things like that, they on the infantry fine. I've got some light dragoon tarletans on some French infantry, and they've gone on no problem at all. So I would say yes, but you may need a little bit of cutting or carving to make them fit. So what I would suggest is give it a go, but dry fit everything before you glue them together, just to make sure that everything fits as you want it to. Then once you've trimmed it down, or if it fits perfectly, then you're good to go. Splob the glue on and go to town on that bad boy. I'm glad I caught this stream, but I'm feeling really sick. Oh dear. Okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Yes. I'll see you guys later. Well, hopefully join us at the weekend, and we'll have some fun and frolics for you then. Essentially, we're just blue Austrians with French Shakos. Oh, right. Okay. Fair enough. Wanted to avoid buying metals or militia units. Oh, sorry. It was Austrian, not British, wasn't it? Yeah, I'd say they should work okay. I would go with the mid-war French though. The late war ones, the Waterloo ones, they do have some separate heads, but their heads are quite big. So I would probably match the Austrians with the mid-war French. So that would be my suggestion there. You could. I'm not sure if they do them anymore. There was a company that sold Shakos separately, but I think they were from a Russian company, so I don't think you're going to be able to get hold of them anymore. The Forlorn Hobby General Dan. Well, at least we've got another 4 Russians. Oh, well, there you go. An experiment hasn't been completely wasted. Yeah, no, it's not worked as well as we would like it to have done, but we've got something out of it, I hope. And I just want to say again, thank you very much for joining me. I know it's been a bit hectic, so thank you for those guys who stuck around, even with it being in portrait mode. We've got loads of horses built. I've got 4 legs on horses, so we're going pretty well there. I may even have these built by the new year. You never know. So painted, yeah, maybe not, but we may have them built. But I'm going to knock it on the head there, guys. It's just gone 7 o'clock. Thank you so much for joining me, as always. I'm going to do a quick thing. Oh, yes. You got the Waterloo Companion. Oh, fantastic, Nick. Oh, that's really good. Was that the one that was the 40 quid one on eBay? That was an absolute steal for whoever managed to jump on that one. Thank you for thank you, Lord Raglan. Lewis Johnson, do I go to any of the conventions in the US? No. I'm in the UK, so that was quite a big one for me. I'm thinking Historicon 2026, though. I'm doing a pilgrimage to Cairo next year. I'm off to the pyramids, so I've never seen the pyramids, despite having a degree in ancient Egypt. So there you go. That's a thing for you. So that's that's all my holiday funds for next year, I'm afraid. I also might be going to Greece as well, but anyway, that's a different thing. Obverse, thank you very much. Thank you for joining me. Hello, it's all good, but I am going to knock it on the head there. Thank you very much, guys. Don't forget to check out. We're going to try and go live on Friday. I will let you know if we do. If not, definitely Saturday, Sunday. And don't forget, this Sunday is going to be the start of the Advent Calendar Challenge. I think it's Sunday, or it might be Monday. But this Sunday's video will be the announcement of the Advent Calendar Challenge, and make sure you guys all take part in that. Well, thank you very much. This is it. I'm definitely going to stop it now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.